Welcome back to Football Daily, where we're looking at 10 players the fans want gone this summer. Remember, if you agree or disagree with our suggestions, let us know down in the comments because we want to hear from you. Let's go. 10. Marco Asensio. It's only mid-June and already Real Madrid have signed Antonio Rudiger and splashed €100 million on the hugely talented Aurelien Tchouameni. In order to keep the good times rolling, Madridistas want to sell Marco Asensio as their next piece of business. The winger, who's been on the club's books since 2016 after joining from Mallorca, has slowly been losing the patience of even the most loyal home supporter. Yes, he scored 10 times in La Liga last term, fewer than just Benzema and Vinicius Jr., but the Spaniard is often accused of going missing on the pitch. Defensively, he offers very little, with his tackles and interceptions plus his 2.3 pressures per 90 among the worst returns from any of the club's midfielders. Ancelotti only gave him the 12th most minutes in the squad last term, and he receives the fewest passes from the regular starters, displaying his tendency to drift in and out of matches. Madrid want him gone to free up space to reform their attack, but so far the 26-year-old hasn't bit at any interest from the likes of AC Milan, Arsenal and Manchester United. Madrid fans will be hoping he reconsiders and moves elsewhere before the summer is out. 9. Wout Weghorsts. Last January, there was plenty of hype when Burnley pulled off the unexpected signing of Wolfsburg's 6'6" striker Wout Weghorst. The Dutchman had been fairly prolific in the Bundesliga and looked a big step up on Chris Wood, who'd been pinched by Newcastle United. However, over the next 20 games, Weghorst would only score twice from 30 attempts, with his shyness in front of goal helping send Burnley back to the Championship. To add insult to injury, the 29-year-old has now made it clear he will not be joining the Clarets in the English second tier. Speaking after netting the winner for the Netherlands in a recent Nations League clash against Wales, Weghorst revealed he will leave the club either permanently or on loan, with the forward uninterested in the Championship with the World Cup just months away. Burnley fans have been quick to criticise Weghorst on social media for abandoning the club the second things went wrong. In fairness to the former AZ Alkmaar star, he hasn't closed the door on playing for Burnley in the future. But his short time in Lancashire has been a disaster, and there'll always be a sense that he could have done more to save their sorry situation. 8. Tanguy Ndombele. Tanguy Ndombele's legacy at Tottenham might just be getting booed off the pitch after being substituted against lowly Morecambe. A disgusted Ndombele took his time leaving the action and was promptly sent on loan to his former side Lyon in the winter transfer window. Ligon could have made the loan permanent for £55 million, but this comical clause was never going to be activated, so Ndombele is back in North London. But shifting him will be an issue, with Spurs' record signing still having 3 years to run on his £200,000 per week deal with the club. In Ndombele's defence, he's played under 5 separate managers during his short time at the side and suffered 7 separate niggles or injuries that derailed his progress in the starting 11. The idea that he's a lazy midfielder is also remissive in itself, given he ranked 3rd within the squad for tackles that helped the team win the ball back and 2nd for successful pressures behind just Pierre-Emile Højbjerg in the 2020-21 campaign. Still, these stats won't be enough to build any bridges with the Spurs faithful, who want him gone sooner rather than later. 7. Ayoze Perez. It will always be baffling that in 2019, Leicester City paid £30 million for Ayoze Perez. The Spaniard was a competent, if uninspiring forward at a lacklustre Newcastle side, scoring 8 in the 2017-18 Premier League season and then 12 the following year. But this was as good as it got for Perez at the King Power. He's netted just 6 times in his last 50 appearances for the club and offered up 4 assists, hardly compelling numbers for their 3rd most expensive ever player. In many ways, Leicester should have seen this coming. Between 2017 and 2020, Perez outperformed his expected goals by 7, a hot streak that was always going to come to an end. When it did, his limited offering of 2 shots per 90 failed to produce much goal-worthy material. Brendan Rodgers handed him just 444 minutes of action in the league this season, clearly recognising his forward's limitations. Make no mistake, the former Tenerife star is a committed professional with excellent defensive numbers. However, he was signed to score goals, and in this regard, he can be upgraded. Most fans of the King Power would agree. 6. Clement Lenglet. Last December, Clement Lenglet invited the wrath of the Barcelona diehards after he was caught laughing with Bayern Munich's Robert Lewandowski. The German Giants had just thumped Barca 3-0, meaning they'd failed to reach the knockout rounds of the Champions League for the first time in 20 years. Fast forward to the present day, and Lenglet has done little to redeem himself in Catalonia. He featured 16 more times after that ill-fated night in Bavaria, however just 5 of those matches were starts, including the final 2 games of the season where Barcelona drew to Getafe and lost to Villarreal. These could prove to be the Frenchman's final actions at the Camp Nou, with a wide range of reports suggesting the club are desperate to sell him this summer. However, his €8.5 million annual salary is tough to match for most sides, and particularly unattractive given his recent fall in stature. That said, the 26-year-old is still fairly young, has played over 170 times in La Liga and still boasts solid stats, producing 3.6 tackles and interceptions and 5.5 successful pressures per 90 last season. He could still be an asset for a top club, but that one won't be Barcelona. 5. Adrien Rabiot. With nearly 250 top-level appearances to his name and countless trophies under his belt, Adrien Rabiot should be considered one of the biggest names in football. But with the 27-year-old, everything is not quite what it seems. At PSG, he was suspended after mocking his side's defeat to Manchester United in 2019, a year after he was heavily criticised for refusing to be part of the reserve list for France ahead of the 2018 World Cup. He penalises himself and sanctions himself alone, said the president of the French Football Federation. With Juventus, there is less drama behind the scenes, but more disappointment at his performances on the pitch. To date, he's only ever scored and assisted 12 times for the old lady, despite playing in an advanced role. 1.5 shots and key passes per 90 is a dismal return, while even his defensive numbers aren't that impressive, currently making 1.4 fouls a match. His outspoken mother and agent has criticised the media for not respecting her son, although Rabiot admitted in December that Juventus still hadn't seen the best of him yet. That may be so, but few are still interested in discovering what the real Rabiot actually looks like. 4. Emre Can. For every moment of class and composure, Emre Can has been accused of committing several sloppy errors for Borussia Dortmund this season. This lack of consistency, plus BVB's disappointing campaign, has led to speculation that Can could leave following Marco Rose out the door. The 28-year-old has labelled noise about his future as fake news he wasn't following. However, it can't be denied that the arrival of Salih Özcan from FC Köln provides another direct threat to the former Liverpool man's position in the midfield. But are Can's critics justified? The German international has selflessly played everywhere across the back line and midfield this season to accommodate the club's ranging injury issues. And despite being shifted around, his numbers are very impressive. He contributes 5 tackles and interceptions and 5.3 progressive passes per 90 and wins 66% of his aerial duels, all among the best returns in the BVB squad. What's more, the stats show that only one error from Can has led to an opposition shot, in contrary to his critics. However, stats don't tell the full story, particularly with Can, who divided fans during his Liverpool days too. Not everyone wants him gone, but there'll be few tears shed at the Signal Iduna Park if he does move on. 3. Neymar. This season, Neymar has found himself regularly jeered at the Parc des Princes. Against Bordeaux in March, both he and Lionel Messi were targeted by fans still reeling from their defeat to Real Madrid in the Champions League, with the South American duo singled out for not doing enough. It continues a trend of Neymar struggling to win over the masses during his time in France. The forward, infamously signed for a world record fee of £198 million back in 2017, has split opinion with his divisive personality, plus struggled to remain fit, missing over 100 games with injury. The Spanish publication Marca even claims the 30-year-old has an ethical bonus in his contract that sees him net over €540,000 per month for simply being courteous, punctual, friendly and available to the fans. If true, it's just another reason for the Parisians to dislike their Brazilian superstar. Meanwhile, Kylian Mbappe has emerged as their real hometown hero, now firmly the face of the PSG project. Neymar claims he's going nowhere fast, but there are rumours the club's hierarchy want to sell. Yet, given his reputation and the huge amount of cash that would require, we can't see this happening anytime soon. 2. Luka Jovic. Of all the big money signings in Real Madrid's recent history, arguably the worst was their decision to pay nearly £57 million for Luka Jovic. Signed in 2019 off the back of a single lethal campaign for Eintracht Frankfurt, to date he's only ever scored 3 times for the club, with his first 2 goals inconsequential strikes after Los Merengues had already established comfortable leads. This season he's been handed 370 minutes in La Liga, yet could still only manage 1 strike from 16 efforts on goal. The Madridistas are already pretty fed up with the 24-year-old, who infamously broke the club's COVID regulations to celebrate his girlfriend's birthday back in Serbia. His dismal return has only given them more reasons to wave their white handkerchiefs at the Santiago Bernabeu. Jovic was meant to be the successor to Karim Benzema, but the club now simply want him gone. However, there are few clubs willing to allocate any resources on the misfiring forward, who earns around €10 million a year. With the World Cup around the corner, he will need to accept a considerable pay cut if he's going to reignite his career before it's too late. 1. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Given the never-ending turmoil at Old Trafford, there are a number of Manchester United players we could have picked, but we've gone for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's no secret that the former Crystal Palace star is surplus to requirements under new boss Erik ten Hag. The club are actively looking for a team to take on the right back, ending his 3-year stay with the Red Devils. Though far from shocking, the £50 million man has never been able to live up to expectations or develop an attacking threat to his game. His career average of 7.7 tackles, interceptions and blocks per 90 is impressive, but at the other end of the spectrum, he's only completing 2.5 progressive passes per 90 and 1.4 shot creating actions. Numbers that put him among the worst 20% of fullbacks in Europe's top 5 leagues going forward. To make matters worse, the 24-year-old has only ever scored twice and offered 9 assists in 126 appearances for the club. Not a single one of those goal involvements came last season. Wan-Bissaka just isn't good enough for where United need to be. Let's hope he can find a club to suit his level once more. So that was our selection of 10 players the fans want gone. Who have we missed out? We want to hear from you down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to Football Daily with the notification bell switched on, and we'll see you next time.